during 6 weeks, there was a group of these people in France who worked beautifully on the TypeParis project, and they will present the result of their hard work during the 6 weeks to you all, one after the other. They will have the time frame to respect, but I'm pretty sure everything will be fine. And at the end, everyone can be back on the back of the room to enjoy the specimen or to take any copy of specimen you want, because that's the tradition. Until 2 o'clock they were still working on their presentation, and probably also part of last night. So we need to congratulate them first. Yes, we are a partial team of the instructor. The 2 missing persons, if I'm correct, are Ruggero Magri and Greg Lindy, who are back to their home, to their countries. But we were 6 instructors this year. Yeah. And then we have, in addition, obviously, Rainer from Glyph was with us until yesterday. He was there. And 4 guest critics. And the first guest critic have been Laura Messenger, and then Giovanna Jovic, and then Thomas Bouillet, and the last one, Léon Hugues. Yes, I wanted to check if they are. So welcome. So the first will be on stage will be Anouk.
But one last thing before that, this is a very important moment for us and for all the attendees, because we've been following their work for 6 weeks. But it's always very special to see everybody's work displayed and carefully put together all at once. So we're looking forward to the next couple of hours, because it's going to be, I hope, reflecting the intensity of the work that went on. So this is something very important for us, but it is also important that we get an external perspective on what we are doing here. So we have a guest jury. Jeremy Hornes is here with us. So Jeremy's
He's a typeface designer since many years. Yeah.
So
who launched quite successful foundry in France. Yeah. Fontu and Black Foundries, and even he's in a new adventure with his new foundries and with new tools, something like that. So it will be quite valuable to be able to judge the project with us at the end of the afternoon. Yes. At the end of the afternoon, there will be the moment for the certificates, and we'll take a lot of photos and everything, and smile on every face already. So enjoy the afternoon. And welcome also for some of the alumni on the back. I'm seeing them, so we are very happy to have you here with us. Okay? Everything is fine?
Yeah.
Maybe something?
No, I think so.
Good luck. Good luck, everybody.
So we're starting with Anouk.
Hello everyone, so I'm going to introduce you Buttercream Typeface. So first, let's talk about the context. when we had to decide the brief, I thought about the stuff that I like the most, which is baking and TV shows, and I thought about Manuela Bakery, which is a famous bakery in New York City, where Carrie Bradshaw with cupcakes. And they made a rebranding recently that is not that, it's really far from the original logo, which is really interesting to me because it has larger serif, it has that handcraft style, some ornamental Art Nouveau spirit. So I wanted to make not a revival, but a typeface inspired by that logo and that could fit with the Manuela bakery and any kind of bakery. So for my references, when we went at Typofonderie, I selected two typefaces. The first one was a slab serif because it made me think of the New York industrial modern spirit, and also one Roman typeface, more classical with larger serif, more contrast, not as symmetrical as the slab serif, and also with quite interesting terminals that could be linked to the ornamental spirit of the original Manuela Bakery logo. And also a lot of ornamental Art Nouveau reference cursives that could help me to introduce again that ornamental spirit on my typeface. So the goal was to bridge the defining characteristics of both typefaces and combining selected elements from each to the typeface. So my researches and my first sketches was a little bit complicated because first I started by reproducing my references to understand the shapes, because the scan, as you could have seen, was not that good quality. And my first drawing were not that good because, as you can see, the shapes are really closer to the slab serif than the Roman one.
Yes.
The shapes were really closer to the slab serif than the Roman one, and the result was really too symmetrical and too industrial, and it wasn't a good crossover of the two typefaces. I just took the terminals of the Roman typeface and that's all. So that was not good. So here it's my first kind of good drawings of what the typeface could be. But as you can see, the serif are too big. The horizontal stem here on the F are really too wide, and the terminal are not really interesting, not really well contrast. So I still had a lot of work to do, but my biggest struggle was really the terminals, because I wanted to keep what was in my original reference of the Roman, but I also wanted to simplify it. So as you can see, I did a lot of terminal version, and the A is an example. And what really helped me in the design of those terminals was the design of the black version. Because when I did the black version, I took back the original drawing, which was not modified yet on GIF. And I drew the black version, and I thought, okay, so there is something interesting in the black version on the terminal of the black version that I didn't saw on the regular. So maybe I could try to understand what is working well on the black design, and that was the beginning of my answer to those terminal issues. And so the final design. So here is the working. So the final design is really different from what I was expecting, but also I'm really happy about it. So here is the first cliff set. As you can see, I did a lot of indicators because it was in the spirit of what I wanted to do with the Manuela logo. Same for the ornamental swatch alternate leaves, as you can see on the bottom. So Buttercream is a two-family typeface. The first one was go from the regular to the black with an Italic version, and the second one, which I called Overmix because it was a joke, and I thought it was funny. So Overmix is the creative master, as we call it in TypeParis, and the creative master was really interesting for me because, as you can see here, it really made the typeface like dancing in a sort of freaky way. And I think it's thanks to Leo that I put the chip to do that, because at the beginning, so my creative master was reverse contrast master, and at the beginning it was really like really thin straight stem, like a lot of reverse contrast fonts, and I didn't know how to make the diagonals, and I started, as you can see, like on the Y, on the V, and all the letters were diagonals. I started to draw some triangular stem, and Leo told me like you should do that on the straight stem, and that's what made my typeface, I think, interesting, because it gave that funky cover energy in this creative master. So here is an extract of the text in regular and in italic. And so here you can see some swatches I did. Here is text. So it goes from the regular to the black. And some gifs. And from the regular to the creative master. So it's interesting because, as you can see, the last master is an extrapolation of the black, the classical black master and the regular creative master. And I had to fix some mistakes, but I think it really gave the typeface a completely different twist. Like it's not even the same typeface, and that's what I really like in this project. And it creates some, you could say, mistake, but I think that's what makes fun. Like maybe the T is not really correct, but I think it's interesting. And I also made a lot of ornament and swatch alternatives because of my original brief with Manuela Beckley. It was really the most satisfying and easy part to do of my project. It was really cool. And some application of the data. And that's all. Thank you, Olivia.
Next student will be Joel.
Hello, thank you for coming today. What the hell was that? These last 6 weeks have been so intense. I don't know if I need to just take a week off and sleep, but that was a lot. My name is Joel Swanson. I have a little bit of a different path into type design than I think most of the students here. I'm actually an artist, so I do a lot of work with sculpture and language, with neon language, with digital media. So I work with language a lot, but I never learned the proper way to actually create these letter forms. So this was a rare opportunity for me to spend 6 weeks doing so. I'd like to start with a little quote. It's actually one of my favorite quotes, and it seems so simple, but it's actually quite profound. It's from a structural filmmaker, Hollis Frampton, and he said, "Once you learn to read, you can't not read." Don't get me wrong, literacy is a good thing. We should all learn how to read. It's a very important skill. But something is lost when we learn how to read because we can't look at a word and just see the shapes. We have to interpret it within our mind. And something that I've really noticed as I've become slightly better at designing type is that it starts to really help us see letters again. So reading actually becomes a little bit more difficult because we lose that ease of not noticing the typographic forms, and I think that's really special. So where did I get started? Well, this is a little print studio that I have at the University of Colorado Boulder, where I'm a professor, and I was lucky enough to just purchase a full metal typeset of Bell, which is a typeface designed in 1789, I think. So I knew that in coming to TypeParis, I really wanted to do some kind of revival of this because I'll be working with it a lot in my studio. Luckily, I found some delightful samples, digitized samples of this at the BNF, so I had some great samples to work from with this revival. But curiously, most of the samples were in Latin, so there was a few characters that I had to use some creative license to interpret because they weren't found in my text sample. And this is where I ended up. Here is a closer look. And a little bit about my process. Like every good boy, I started with calligraphy, process Gina. What was really nice about the type samples that I had is I could look at different printed characters and kind of interpolate between those to find the average form, so I spent a lot of time doing that. Here's my little corner of the room, lots and lots of drawing and hanging things up. From there to some inking. I actually put the date on that one. To digitizing to the final form. And then here's my full alphabet. From the full alphabet in this book version, I created two masters. My creative master on the left was an extended hairline, and on the right is an extra black. And then I interpolated my main styles from there. A light, a book, bold, and then the extra bold again. The key features I was focusing on were these ball terminals, which is a hallmark of Bell. And then I also created a serif that modulates its way through the masters. Also had a lot of fun making some swatches with these ball terminals. And here is a sample of the mixed types. And I thought that was cute. So let's talk about the name Guta. So one of the hallmark characteristics of Bell, as I said, are its ball terminals, which to me look like little drops for tears. So I was doing some Googling and came across the Latin word for drop, which is Guta, and then I had my name. In my research, I also found out that Bell was one of the first typefaces that became popular to retire the long or medial S. And because I like anachronistic things, I was like, let's bring that back into the typeface. So I built an entire set of ligatures for this long S, as you can see here. This is actually a sample from the Declaration of Independence from the United States. And I remember as a little kid, I went to Washington, D.C. on a field trip and saw this, and I was so confused by these S's. I was like, did they spell all these words wrong? And I can look at that day at looking at these long S's and that being the start of kind of this journey into an interest in typography and form and history. So this is kind of has a special spot in my heart. So I did take some artistic license. So this is the italic form of the medial S or the long S, and I adapted that into this Roman style typeface. So again, this is what a normal S looks like, and then the italic long version of that. The word snow. I'm not going to read all these, but these are the quote-unquote official long S rules. So this is when you would use a long S versus a normal S in historical printing. And if Rainer was here, I think he'd be very proud of me. I adapted those to a script. So this is what those rules look like programmed into glyphs. And again, here are some of those ligatures that I mentioned that were lots of fun. I particularly like that long hook on the extended form of this. And then on to the type specimen, which was yesterday, but it feels like years ago. So there's the printed out version. Digital version of the type specimen. So where will this go? Well, I have this little trend that I do with each new year at the university where I'll pick a new typeface and a new color palette, and I'll kind of redesign all my slides to match that. And I typically use a typeface that I think is pretty cool, trying to get my students interested in typography. So this year, I will be using this typeface. It needs a little work, probably going to take a week or two off of that, but I'm excited to use this in my educational practice when I get back home. Thanks again to all the instructors, type critics, most importantly, all my classmates here. So, the hallmark of me teaching a good class, I know I've taught a good class, is when someone comes to me and be like, wow, I learned so much, but there's so much more I want to learn. So my biggest compliment to Jean-Francois and all the instructors here is what I would want to receive from a student. Can we start over? Can we do it again? There's so much more to learn. This is a really great experience, so thank you all.
Thank you, Joe. So we're now, oops. Yeah, that's good. So please welcome Mio.
Hello everyone, my name is Mio Asai. I am graphic designer from Japan. So I would like to show you my project. It's Passage. I think Group Passage is a very beautiful arcade in Paris. And also Passage is kind of metaphor for my typeface project. It means connection between different places and different words and different cultures. And everything started with one character, the ampersand, that I found it in Koshan. So I really admire the shape because in Japanese we don't have the same symbol like ampersand that's connecting different words. So I started collecting more ampersand from old book. And then I learned something. The ampersand originally comes from the ligature of the letter E and P. And in many typefaces, the Roman ampersand and the Italic ampersand looks completely different. As I continued my research, I studied French writing matters and engraved copy books from the 16th and 17th centuries. I studied both the differences and the consistency between Roman and Italic. At the same time, I loved the beauty of the layer and the pen strokes. Everything was carefully designed with a sense of humanistic warmth. So that became the feeling I wanted for my typefaces. The main brief is develop a typeface family built around the relationship between Roman and Italic. Reinterpret historical calligraphy and animating traditional for contemporary use, such as letterhead, envelopes, business card, correspondence. So I started drawing. This is my first drawing. There were many problems. The connection is too high contrast, and the stem is too delicate, and the ending terminal of it is too long. This is the second drawing. I made a few changes, low contrast, adapt for text use. The ending stroke was shortened slightly for the letter spacing. The descender was shortened to improve stability. So I visualized it here are some details: the descender and ascender adjust to improve stability. And the shape inspired by inflow, and the axis is slightly inclined, giving a more humanistic style. The shape is slightly curved to keep a feeling of movement. I also introduced a subtle curve to the sum of the strokes. Here is the layer, and this is the leaf set, and this is text. For now, my Roman was complete, so next I moved italic. I started drawing, and I digitalized it and compared with the later side. So what's happening here? This is my first italic, but I refined more. So I satisfied this result, so I digitalized it. So here some details. This italic is slanted at 17 degrees, and I designed it to evoke the continuous movement of the pen as if the letters were naturally connected. Here is the leaf set, and here is the text. And I also expanded the character set by adding more smart characters, the alternate leaves and lectures. This is sample. And of course, I made a lot of ampersand poetry. So this is the expression. So next, I created a black sky to explore the weight range. First, I started by drawing, then I digitalized it. So I realized designing black taught me something important. Black is not about drawing black spaces, designing the white space. In the end, I developed the family into 6 grades. This is a text. Working across different styles such as black and Italy taught me how important consistency is within the typeface family. And next, one of the biggest discovery was the interpolation. After that, I developed a creative master for display style. So we did a very quick sketching. So this is my sketch. And I decided to develop it into a super wide and very thin style. So before I develop it further, I returned to my historical references. I think returning to references became an essential part of my design process. I studied Luis Alvader's lighting manual. In the lighting sample, I discovered better with reverse contrast and beautifully flowing pen stroke. From the visual sketch, I add stronger reverse contrast, add later pointed pen influence, and exaggerate cup shape. So this is the result of the interpolation. From there, I developed the display style. So this is a grid set. And this is a text sample. At this point, the typeface had really started to come together as a family. So with the Roman and Italic completed, the weight range expanded, and singular display style expanded. So that was when I finally named it Passage. For me, this project is about many kinds of passages between Roman and Italic, between writing and type, between history and contemporary design, and even different cultures. Finally, I created a series of mock-up, such as letterhead envelope, and I also applied passage to my own business card. I chose the Japanese typefaces called Glepo. I heard harmonized best with passage and other stationery materials. So, and then thanks to my project, I think I can finally send letters using my own typefaces to my teacher here in France, to my friends in France and Switzerland, Hong Kong, Lebanon, and the United States. So after I return to Japan, I hope this typeface will continue to remind me of everything I learned here. So thank you for this wonderful 6 weeks. Merci.
Yeah, you have to open the passage for Sébastien. Please go.
Hello everyone, I'm a French attendee, Sébastien, and when I arrived in TypeParis, I had an interest obviously for type design, but also for slab typography, slab typeface. Oh, yeah. Slab typeface. Sorry. And I developed a real interest for slab typeface, especially unique and clown family. And this is some steps about the TypeParis. This is my starting point. My inspiration is unique and clown typeface at the beginning. This is the first image I showed to Jean-François during the class for the brief. This is a Japanese label for denim. And I love this layout with all these different slabs in one design. And I found this, and I also have some example of unique typeface. But this is, I love it, but it's not a brief. And I need more context for the next steps. And this is the main goal at this stage is to find a brief and a context. I found both examples, both different directions. This signage about the Michelin signage on the road everywhere in France. You can see it, and there are some interesting details in it. Is it an italic typeface, an italic slab typeface? And you have also some interesting shapes with the numbers on the left. And this is older example of it. You have an interesting shape on the G and also with third, and very modern shape to be legible. And this is also the both sides of my references, the newspaper, French newspaper, national and regional, with title and also the text inside it. This is my both references, and the goal is to combine them, to blend everything to create a French typeface, French style typeface. And during all the process with Jean-François, the library, and all the different inspiration, there are interesting elements, black typeface, condensed, sans serif, a lot of different things, all the theme also, and the first drawing of the typeface, of the regular typeface. This is the beginning. Maybe the first step is a drop, the teardrop, because it's the most interesting element in slab serif. It's to the goal, or the goal is to find a nice shape, an interesting shape, to be interesting for the text and also maybe for a display version of this typeface. This is some example of words, and this is a pile of letters, foreign letters. And this is the first word. And you can see interesting elements like the teardrop, of course the G, not the easiest letter, but very interesting. And the very tricky parts of it. It's the white space inside the drop, or in the R or in the A, for example, to don't have too much contrast between the A lowercase and the E lowercase. And this is a word with the clean version on div. And this is all the small details inside it. The ink trap to give interesting shape. Also the teardrops terminals to have interesting design and very creative. And also the contrast in the serifs. And this is my feelings during this process. Balance, a constant balance between the initializing, the feedbacks, and they are not the same every time. Respect the ref and the reference, and be creative, of course, and work, and sleep in breath in short time. And this is the residuals. I have also another steps with the black. Maybe after. And at the end, I have three families with bodies. The regular one for the text and the display version, very round with reference, old side references, low contrast. The aléatoire is a random version with moving counter, random shape, and mixed contrast. And the accession is the italic version. And I find the French name for each one. The classic one, the balise. Balise is a beacon. It's maybe the first step when you have a journey to find the direction. And balise is a nice name for short piece. And this is a complex glyph set with the lowercase, the capital, few numbers, and all the diacritics. This is an example with the text. You can see the contrast, the rhythm with the drop, also the very vertical elements like the serif of the S lowercase, sorry. And you have the system also for the weight, like other examples. 1 to 6 for the regular to the black. This is a black design, black typeface. An issue with this is spacing, because of course it's very hard with the slab serif because you have a long serif, very with some letters, very hard to find the good white space. And I changed some serif to compact them and to be higher and less larger. And this is a complete set. Also the Italian version with all the elements and the random. This is a classic text, and this is a random. And here you have the whole complete set with the number, and you have some alternative with later. Here you can see the text with different interpolation. You have the lights, the regular, the semi-bold, and the bold. And you have different contrasts also for different usage. And here you have the alternative glyphs, 3 for the A, 3 for the E, the S, and I create with Renu the system for random writing to push all the system of this interface. And here you can see some example. And this is the motion on the interface. And this is the system. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Sebastian. We're now welcoming Nuo.
Hi everyone. Where to start? Okay, so my typeface is called Al-Riwaq. Al-Riwaq is an Arabic name for a passage that has sort of an arch. And my goal was to look for something that is inspired by Arabic, because during school, during university, we always looked at fonts that were Arabic but were Latinized. So they always had the structure of Latin, and that was always an issue. They were always used to tell us, don't use these fonts, stick to the structure of Arabic, and find fonts that work with the actual structure and calligraphy of Arabic. So what I wanted to do here, because it was Latin, is to do a Latin font inspired by Arabic, but does not force any Arabic doctus to it. And so I had visited a Lebanese guy in Lebanon, obviously. He has an archive of cinema posters, and these are a few things that I saw at his place that were very, very nice, and they had really interesting shapes, and I wanted to see how far I could take these to create a Latin typeface, which was hard because I had no reference and nothing to go back to. But these are a few things that I liked, and I thought, okay, maybe I could work with these. The triangular counter, maybe I could extend that into Latin. The tapered terminus, maybe I could use that. And also the angled stroke. And this was quite a struggle, but we started with calligraphy. And when I did calligraphy, I was like, okay, I think I figured it out, everything is okay. Little did I know that reverse contrast was not the way to go. Reverse contrast was actually the easiest route to take, and that was something that Laura told me. She's like, it's very expected, Arabic has reverse contrast, so maybe your challenge is not to do that, although my challenge was way bigger than just that. But anyway, I tried it, and I was like, let me explore, see how far it goes, and I put a few letters, and then I did that, and I don't know what happened here, and I knew that I needed help. And on that day, I got a question that kept recurring in my head. How can Latin carry traces of Arabic without imitating it? So I had to remind myself constantly not to copy things from Arabic, just be inspired. And Laura told me, what if you just look at Arabic and then push it away and just try to draw from what you remember? And I think that was really good advice. So my direction here, this is a very pivotal moment, because if you know, then this is the day that I found my P. And it was crazy because I remember being on the table and all 11 other attendees around me, 12 others, sorry, attendees around me, and everyone was like just to count their letter because it truly was a struggle. I think everyone had probably 10 letters and I was struggling to find one, so that was lovely. Thank you, Leo. You helped me. And from there we went NPF, and that was the drawing, and then I had to digitize, and from that we see a system start to come together. Here we have the angled stroke that starts all of, well, not all of the letters, but most of the letters, and this is something that I learned is an upright italic. I did not know that before. And then we have a soft triangle triangular counters, which is something that we saw at the beginning in my references, and I tried to put it here, just a lot bigger than it is in Arabic. And the axis had so all the tension in the axis, in the letter forms had a specific axis to try to keep the contrast that was in Arabic. Here you see the tense connections and the paper terminals. And from that we see some letters that were, okay, so now I have my N, I can get my U and my M. I have my P, I can get my B, B, Q. I have my E, I have my C, F, R, T, and then I tried to draw a few more letters, which was super fun to see all of them next to each other. But then when you digitize, you realize they're not that great. Because legit, I saw my paper and she's like, you know, everything needs to be fixed. I was very humble. And then I needed some validation. So my issue here was that none of the people around me speak Arabic, so I can't come to someone and tell them, hey, do you think it works? Because they wouldn't know. And so I sent a message to a friend who speaks Arabic, but doesn't know my name. And I told her, look, here's my favorite letter so far. And she said, it resembles Arabic. And it was crazy to me because, I got validation, that's amazing. So I think I know what I'm doing. Amazing. And then I had to do it on this, and I had to make 20 different versions of the G. I was thinking, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. So you see different versions of the G. I really wanted a double story G. And then I had a guest critic, Joanna, and she's like, I know you think this may be cool and you like it, but yeah, you should get your grades. That was also humbling again. So I don't know what I'm doing, and this turned into this, which is fun. And then my glyph set, this is my regular glyph set. And this is my extended. Here's a text with some capitals. My black extended, more text, some metallic, more text. And this is just a mix of bold is interpolated between the regular and black, and some metallic, some regular together. And then my display, this was fun. This was fun and also traumatizing because it took me so much time to figure it out, but then thank you, Matthew. You saved my life. He really sat with me for a good half hour trying to pick our brains to see what could happen, and it was just a question of what is the key part of your letter form that you can extend so far and not lose your main idea. And it was just that slant at the beginning that makes it an upright italic, and so we did a really black, high contrast font. So this was the struggle. I started with, maybe I could do contrast, and that way I could accentuate the slant, blah, blah, but everyone was like, no, maybe you shouldn't do that, and so we got to that. And this is supposed to mix it up. It's supposed to be a bit new. Other. Okay. So this is it, interpolated between regular and display. And this is an interpolation between bold, which was also an interpolation, and my display back. Somehow have like a middle ground, not too bad. And thank you to everyone. You really helped.
Thank you. I'm going to be thankful for you.
Hello everyone, I hope you're good. Okay. So, sorry, I'm so stressed. Okay. that's okay. So I'm here to show you Alturia, right? My phone. So first, I'm gonna introduce myself. So my name is Neil, and then we're gonna focus on the musician part of me. So I'm playing guitar, bass, drums, and any kind of thing. And sometimes you could like see me singing, but you will never. Okay? Let's talk about that. It's okay. So it was like I wanna bring music, and because this is what I see every day. And you see like, okay, that's okay. We can understand it's music, but it's so cold, so we don't want to understand like the title. Okay, we play music, but no funny, no creativity, right? So I came back in the past, and I just saw, oh, it's so much different. Like, whoa, we have big letters, we have like very weird things. So this is a lute partition. It's like the grandfather of the guitar, you know. So we have italics, we have other things. This is my reference, actually. I wanted to do kind of a revival of this, but yeah, I noticed different things. I will focus on the Garamond things of this, because Jean-François first told me, okay, you have to understand how it's working, and then you're gonna bring your musician, creativity, and everything, you know? So yeah, we have to focus on top serif, bottom serif, terminals, axes, and like the small t. The small t's, I know when, this is how I recognize the Garamond actually. And after you could focus on these very weird things, you see like, this is crossed, so you need like very good counter shape, very low ascenders and descenders, and you have like, nobody understands this. This is weird, but this is very great. So, first step, calligraphy, right? Everybody went through this. This is first painful, but after practicing, you're getting like you're a little bit excited, right? So we do a lot, and after we do capitals and numerals and everything, and after this, maybe Jean-François is gonna say to you, this one is probably okay right now. Okay? So it's probably you can maybe go for it. So you took like the one he likes a little bit. So and you try to go for tracing paper. This is I put the dates on it because he told me you should. Jean-François is not gonna be happy if you don't. So yeah, we have the tracing paper there, and after it, we have a lot of tracing paper. I'm so sorry, Jean-François. Maybe it's very expensive because I know you have to buy again tracing papers because of bad letters. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so we went through this, and after we went through this. And after Ruggero and Leo really likes to draw on my letters, I don't know why. But maybe one day I will understand. But yeah, okay, you have some corrections, so you went through like painful and like questioning about yourself, your font, everything. So okay, let's try to fix everything. So, okay, I have to explain this picture. It's probably one of the most funny. So we went through like a lot of different library, and one of the best is like Farney. You can get some very good books, right? It's okay? It's okay, Jean-François? Okay. So, okay, now let's be serious. Let's create a typeface and sound, right? So, okay, let's focus on top serif actually, and after you have the bottom serif. I know it's not the most important things, but at first I thought it was okay. So yeah, I know, you know, we all know, okay. Okay, and we have the axis. This is like kind of a Garamond proportions, and yeah, and I wanted to keep the inner, like in the counter shape, like a little angle, and to keep sharp, but outside I wanted to be readable, so I kept the curve, you know. And obviously you have the little terminal that you can find on the F, the C, the R. Okay, and after you just have to apply, I mean, it's not just have, but it applies on capitals letters. And yeah, after I was born, it's like 5 weeks or maybe 4 weeks. So you can check the full belief set. And I went for diacritics, I went for numbers and everything we had to, and I learned a lot. I'm so grateful actually. This is amazing to see it in big size, right? Okay, and I went to the music glyph set because everybody told me like, no, you cannot just do like 2 notes. Valentin knows what I say. He said to me like, no, do everything. You have 2, okay, I have 2 and I really enjoy it, thank you. So yeah, you have it, and then you have the ball. So yeah, okay, you have only 3 music glyphs, I'm sorry, no? But yeah, you have the ball, and this one is a little bit wider. So it's to make like bring more funny things in the music, right? So yeah, we have this, and after you have the actually compressed is the reverse of everything. So it's all about making a kind of display, and it's bring back a little bit of piano in my head and like string of the guitars. I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far. Okay. But yeah, and then you can see it in text, and you can see like big words. Yeah, you can use like italic black, and yes, of course I went for italic because on music parts you use it for the, you know, when you write the lyrics, you need the italics. So, okay, little point on Rainer. Everybody there of the attendees know Rainer. He's like one of the 2 gods of glyph, and everybody is using it there, right? So we all love Rainer. I'm so sad that he's not there because he's saying a lot orala, and I have to say that orala Rainer. Okay, thank you. He wrote a lot of us for us. Sorry. And the major things he brought to me, it's actually a pipe. No. Okay, this is interpolation, right? This is we're all like so. This is so sad. I'm sorry. It's so playful to see, right? I'm just like excited. And then we came back to music and trying to put interpolation and waves. And also I wanted to have the italics. So this is how it works. I wanted to bring back cursivity, you know, at the bottom of the letters, and yeah, do it. So fortissimo in different ways and weights. Also, okay, let's come back to music actually, even if we are deep into it. This is how I wanted to like recreate shapes, but you have to keep the initial shapes there because musicians need to understand what's going on. So yeah, this is how it works. You have the A, you have the terminals of the F at the bottom of the G key, and also on the C key you have the cedilla. I don't know, I found it and was like, okay, why not? I have to do it. Then, okay, so don't, respect yourself. I have to write it because it's like the things I heard a lot. But yeah, okay, so this is like experimental master. It's just to, because letters are gonna be crossed at the end. So I had to understand how the counter shape works and how can I bring it back. So it was just doing like experimental masters to verify how my counter shape works, and actually I just bring a little bit of space inside after this. So this is how it works. And also you can have the condensed version with that italic. And yes, because it's funny. I'm sorry, this is the F key. Also, nobody asked, but everyone needed. It's my fault. Another break in TypeParis. If you know Floyd, this is the real partition. You can see values and notes, how it works. And you can also do some illustration with the key. You can, after everybody showing their best typeface, of course, you can have a look at the specimen. Here I wanted to design a poster, and the back of it, it's kind of a poster too, but to explain music. I think you used to. And I want to thank everybody because it was amazing. This is the first time I had teachers working as much as students. We all agree. This is the first time, like, Jean-François on base camp at 1 a.m., I don't know, like sending things like, oh wow, you don't sleep too? Okay, that's good. So yeah, I want to thank everybody. Very, very thank you. And thanks for listening.
Thank you, Neil. After that, merci. Grab a few more seconds. Okay, now welcome Vanessa.
Thank you very much. Hello. I hope you're doing well. I will present to you my typeface ballast. And the beginning or the start of the whole project was when I found this book in Zurich. I strolled through a second-hand shop there and I found this book. And I was so surprised because this book is about a railway system in Lausanne, so all the way on the other side of Switzerland. And as I partly grew up in Lausanne and in Zurich, I really like this railway and I often travel it and it's very dear to me. So I had to buy it and it fascinated me since then. And this is some pictures inside the book. It has a lot of historical references and a lot of pictures and anecdotes and even like one time the train fell into the snow, so this is really funny. And I just love reading this book, so it was a good or a cool creation to start this project. And at the beginning I had two sources, so one that is a bit more larger, a bit more readable from afar, and the other one that is a bit more like in this in the mindset of the train, like the train originated from the 19th century, so it has very vertical proportions, and so I thought this fit quite well. And so I experimented the interpolation between both of them, and at the end we just put everything in the trash bin, and we proceeded with the one that like is better reading and is more readable and has rounder shapes. And these were my sketches, and like this is a great example of how it looked on my table. And this is it sorted. So this was the analog beginning of the whole thing. And here you can see my glyph set, the regular. And the main characteristics of my typeface are the round shapes, the round ball terminals, and the moderate stroke contrast. And it's really a classical, round, friendly typeface. Yes, exactly, the round terminals. And the low contrast. And what I found, or where I had a bit of fun, or where I could open up to a bit of creativity, is the serifs, the vertical serifs. And I took this shape that I inspired from the train, like the glides, the train tracks, and I took it and adapted it to the serifs. And I created this slide, and I was like, I chuckled a bit because I thought it looked like I put on a salt on my S. And this is my glyph set, and all the little symbols that I had a bit of fun. Yeah. And here you can see the typeface in text. And here are my symbols. And the one symbol that I want to point out is the symbols, the cross and the two hammers. These I found in the book, and they mean like when the train is operating on the weekdays, when everyone is working, and when the train is not operating on Sundays. And this is my italic. The italic was really, I have a new respect for for people doing italics because I think it's really difficult to get the spacing and the proportions right with slant and with this calligraphic aspect. And then I got to my black. So there I used a lot of ink. And this is my black. I would say it's an ultra black. It was quite a struggle fitting the characteristic ball terminals in this tight space. And I adapted it a little bit with the serifs, and I squished everything a bit, but needed to work it for interpolation, so it was a really interesting task. And here you can see how I adapted my training serifs on the ultra black. And this is the ultra black in text. What was really important with the ultra black is the counter, so it's really tiny dots that are like really close to each other, and it was really important to leave them like this and to not leave them really in a rhythmic space. And then we go to my film master, my creative master. And this was really the exact opposite of my ultra black version. And it is called Ballast Aiguille. And yes. So it was really important for me to get like where there was weight in my regular to find a bit where are the places where I need to put the weight also in the fin, because it's so thin. Somebody or somewhere needs to be a little bit of weight. So I searched for it in like this blurred sheet. And this is the fin in text. And this is everything again in an overview. I think it's really interesting because you can see like the grayscale and the different colors of the typefaces. And here you can see the fin, the hairline, the fin, the light, the regular, so my name master, and the medium, bold, black, and extra black, and turbulence. So this is my normal font family. Yes. And these are the serifs that had a lot of stretching, a lot of extending, a lot of the interpolation was an interesting process. And here you can see the G and the serifs, the horizontal serifs on the G, how it behaved, and as it changes a lot of character between the weights, I think there's still something similar, and I'm really glad that I could leave these similarities inside the G, like the train-inspired serif. And the S is my favorite letter, so this slide is very dear to me. And what was also very interesting is to leave the stroke contrast in the S. And the top serif was also a little challenge, and it took me quite a while to figure it out, how it looks in thin and in ultra black. And this is my first degree, and I had fun like doing an italic version of the film master. And as I wanted to experiment a little bit with the physicalities of the train and go back to my initial brief and not get lost in all of the letters, I tried to experiment with a speed axis, so a slant and a back slant, and the back slant and the forward slant in italic. And if you hope the animation works. How do you get the animation to work? Oh, actually. Yes, so here I tried to imitate like the movement of the train. It should like when it slants backwards, it like speeds, and when it slants forward, it like brakes. But it was not that easy to visualize. but that's why my forward slant is called élan. No, my backward slant is called élan, and my forward slant is called break, so frein in French. And this is my design space. So I think it's very difficult to visualize the design space. Here it is vertically from ultra black to light, and on the side over the slants. And here is the design space horizontally, and it may I'm fine, I don't know how it's called in English. And here are the interpolations I did in between. And for future, what I would like to explore are the physical, like the speed axis, also on the other weights. I tried a little bit on the ultra black, but this will take more than 6 weeks. And the last variable, yes, this is the front in movement. And this is my type specimen. Yes. And here is zooming. Excuse my digital camera that I brought here to Paris. It's not very good resolution, but it does the job. And I would like to thank the whole team, because without them I wouldn't have get so far. And I wanted to say that I'm really happy that I've got worldwide inspiration from every one of you, and also worldwide inspiration from the whole team. Thank you very much. I'm really thankful, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
And we're now listening to Sofia.
Alright, hi everybody. I'm Sophia. I'm from the United States, Seattle. And this is my typeface bodega. If you've never been to a bodega, it's a kind of like corner store that's on the East Coast in like New Jersey and New York. And I have 2 styles. So let's just get into my inspiration. It all started with this. This is a picture of my nono, my grandpa, in his deli that he founded when he came to the US from Sorrento. You can see I was inspired by these like ridiculously big cheeses. I just thought they just had this feeling to them that I really liked. And you can see this right here is a deli. It's very small, but mighty. And then this is my dad at the time, also small and mighty. And throughout the process, I was inspired by those cheeses initially, but then I started thinking about like stories of the deli that my dad had told me while I was growing up. And I was thinking about these hero sandwiches, which are these super long sandwiches. They're also called hoagies or subs. And they're like ridiculous. I'll show you a picture. They're just longer than you could imagine. We need 2 people to carry them. And so I was just like, okay, I want a typeface that feels like familiar, I want it to be friendly, and I want something that's like a bit of fun. It's something that fits with the deli. So yeah, where I started though was with the familiarity, the classicness. So I did a revival. I started with the Decameron, which is an Italian comedy. And I really liked, it had, first of all, cheese references in it, which I thought was great. And in the specimen, you can see here, it's like very classic humanist, but it's very open and round, and there's a certain friendliness and invitingness to the text. So how this actually informed my final typeface, you can see here, like, the weight is all on the right of these letters, and I copied that with my N. And then the flow is really important. So you have that big initial stroke, and then the asymmetrical sheriff that shows like the stroke of the pen. And then another really key feature was this like proportion of the really small like head of the A and the E. Yeah, but now we get into the struggles of this specimen, this reference. So you can see the quality isn't great, but the main problem is the quality of like printing at the time. This is from 1480, so it's like they didn't have like crazy technology, and so every single A looks super different. So I started tracing them, and I was like, wow, they're all so different. I need to find like the perfect A. So I looked through, this is what the pages look like. I looked through pages and pages, and I felt like if any of you guys have seen the show Severance, I felt like I was in Severance. I was like, this feels right, this feels wrong. And then I realized I need to take a step back. I need to trust myself. And the way that I actually ended up getting my typeface was not by tracing, but just drawing the letters and looking at them in a small size. So yeah, let's get into the drawing part. This was the crazy setup every day of drawing the letters, redrawing, and then inking, and then making more changes. Lots of paper. You can see most of the letters stayed pretty close when I vectorized them to the initial tracing paper. The only thing that I had to do calligraphy for was my italics and my numbers, because that wasn't in my original. And you can see here my very messy setup. And then we have this experimental reverse contrast. This is not very close to what ended up in the final vectorized version. This took a lot more experimentation. So now getting into the final typeface. This is Bodega, sharp on the outside and smooth on the inside, like a good cheese. And there's 3 styles, the classic text style that you can see, and then Hero is my combo between the two, the interpolation, and Hoagie is the reverse contrast display. So here you can see the main feature, you have that oblique axis that just informs all of the construction. And you can see those small head of the A and E. And then the sharp on the outside, smooth on the inside, ended up being a really important thing, both in my regular and also in the Creative Master. So this is my alphabet, or the classic, the text version. Here's a little interpolation that shows you the weights. The black, actually, I had a lot of fun with. I really liked doing the black, just the process of figuring it out was really fun. Here's just an assembly of the mix of things. So here you can see rosemary, that's the reverse contrast. The very top one, that's the interpolation, or Hero. This is my italic glyph set. Okay, and then this is Hoagie, the reverse contrast. It's lovable and strange. I only did a few weights of these because the extrapolation got a little strange after that. Hoagie, the low contrast, friendly and fun. So it's fun because when you have the reverse contrast and the regular contrast in the middle, it's low contrast. Awesome. And then here's Hoagie and Hero. This is the regular set in text. You can see the different weights. And then this is just between the regular and the reverse contrast. You can see what changed. The stress actually increased a bit. Yeah. And then I wanted to just have an example of what it would look like if you was used in the deli. So I did this deli paper mock-up. And yeah, you can see a picture of the deli on the right there and how they fit together. So thank you so much. I didn't write everyone's names, but everyone, thank you so much.
Now it's time for Simon.
Hello everybody. I hope I will be as stressed as Leo. So I came to TypeParis because I wanted to become better at type design, and especially because recently I started doing more and more calligraphy research. And before some of them, I was kind of happy, and I was like, okay, so it would be amazing if it became a good font. But the process is not so easy, as maybe some of you know. Starting from calligraphic researches, you still have to keep some of its identity, but not so much. You still have to find good decision making to turn it into a great font. So this is not enough to be a brief for my project. I became interested in some 18th century books from Jean-François's library, something like this in English. And I went into another mix between Verano revival and calligraphy based on it. So the starting point was to use imprints of books from the 18th century in large, and actually go for calligraphy based on it with tracing paper. So this was done on a tissue tracing paper about this. So then I selected a few shapes that were interesting to me, and we began the process that you are not familiar about, a lot of tracing paper and less and less sleep every day for 6 weeks. So this was the starting point. I actually tried to be a bit crazy with the serif and everything. Soon it became a bit more normal, but still. Like, if the idea of my project was to find the right balance between calligraphy and a normal type design stabilization, let's say it went kind of heavy on the calligraphy side, with a lot of challenges for later, like the process, because you can see heavily asymmetrical serifs. The stroke is really see-through, and there are really, let's say, generous ascenders and descenders. So on the process, it brings us to this kind of first glyphs version, which still is really heavily calligraphic. And to actually put those calligraphic inspirations in more, let's say, in light, I actually went with something way more strong, putting back a lot of structure, lowering the contrast, and lowering also the axis from the gradient pen. So through the systematic approach of having the same kind of stroke beginning and serifs, the same kind of serif on the R and the S, and also the same kind of connection to bring more regularity and to actually, like, put in value more what's calligraphical in it, which leads us to this kind of alphabet and this kind of text. So I have to say that I really wanted to do a font for text, printed text, maybe books. This was important for me, and I'm kind of happy it went good. Hopefully using this good like I do. And then became the process of the black version. I was kind of really happy with this, actually. Then someone, let's not pronounce his name, but maybe call him GFP, put this stencil line, which actually makes it obviously a lot of sense. Because if we start with a regular like this, obviously we are not going to end with the serifs like that. But still, that's kind of sad. I was thinking in the before presentations that if this font was mine, maybe a little serif here in order to balance the white. Because then we have so much white. So much white, so little cheating of contrast and stuff like this, but still, that's sad. So yeah, the idea was to build a crayon black style, matching the regular to have normal looking interpolations for every kind of usage, which is almost okay. Leading us to this kind of black alphabets and this interpolation. And how they live together in the same little text here. And then, as you've seen the process of the previous attendees, we go back to calligraphy and tracing paper for new styles. Here, the italic, which went this way, which I'm not so happy about. Maybe I will start. It's really hard for, it was kind of difficult to manage. I went for some interpolation matching the weight of the regular Roman version. And now what? After all these normal styles, it's time for more displayness and researches. And the starting point was going for a high contrast, very narrow style, which made a lot of sense if I wanted to do a font for books, to have a control their width. But sadly, I really like really heavy stuff, like the serifs on the T of TypeParis. And I actually decided that if in my black style there was no serif, I would I would go for it. Actually, it creates some kind of graphical and interesting proportions, you know, like having the asymmetrical serifs put in light like this is a good way to have like a good interaction with connecting letters, you know, through the serifs. And the idea was also to have a low contrast, high serif style, so that the interpolation would be interesting. And in between, I really actually like the kind of surprise that happened here, because we gain somewhat bold, like this is the interpolation between the regular and this display black slab serif. And this creates a nice interpolation in the middle through a bold, which is really low contrast. And this is kind of what the family looks like with the interactions of the normal weights and the italics, and the creative master being this heavy black. And this is all fun. So I hope you like it.
Thank you. Now is a nice early.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Anaïs Marcel-Bonjour, and I will present you typeface I created for TypeParis 26 on the last hour. So I will start with my family, because I'm in a scientist family, like my father, Loïc Francherieux. He is a good scientist. And my sister, Cécilia Francherieux, he is a cell scientist. And last time, my sister have his first published paper in the magazine Cell Press, and I was like, it's always the same kind of typeface, and I think maybe design needs to have a new typeface for biology publication, with connecting scientific history with current research to create something new, like Andreas. So I asked this question: when did scientific knowledge begin to written and transmit? And it was in the Renaissance. So I searched some to discover the sources, like old books about sciences, like a first writing book to transmit the knowledge. You can see anatomical book, botanic book, and some Greek elements. And I feel like there are another inspiration, like antique inspirations. So Jean-François gives me some reference from Homer, and so I have a lot of reference, but as you can see, it's only capital reference. So I asked myself to understand what is the characteristic of this, and I tried to understand by drawing. So I drawn some terminals to understand the shape, the curve, how it proceeds, and after, so okay, so I know I need to do some engraved stone. Absolutely not. But the first tool is a brush. So this I can do. So I try to make the drawing, but with a brush, to understand the movement and how I can make a calligraphy and how I can make a good typeface.
So after that, I reproduce the capital letter with my brush. And now I understand better how I can create lowercase with uppercase. So I try to create N, P, E, and F. And after that, I use tracing paper, like everyone, to match calligraphy with typography to have NPEF. And I was very, very attached to have asymmetrical serif, because yes, this is asymmetrical, but I know it's not here, but for me it's here. I was very attached to that, but finally I did this idea and I just make symmetrical serif. And so after tracing paper and letters, I create italic and black letters and some exercises with creative, like reverse contrast and really big, and I don't remember what is that. And finally, I have my creative master, like very extended, very wide, very thin, and I feel like it's very interesting, like a skeleton, like a scientific effect. So yes, I think it's good. But what about scientific language? So let's create Greek letters. So I tried to create Greek letters, and it was very horrible, very bad. So I tried, but yes, it's very difficult to create Greek letter with the same shape to create Roman letters. So finally, it will be okay. And a lot of letters on Greek. I have my typeface, Andreas Nova. So this typeface is about science, and you can see the entire glyph set with capital, lowercase, numbers, and letters. And yay, good letters! So this is a kind of experimentation with Greek letters to understand how it can be used, like in title, in mathematical thing, and other weird thing with science, like another. And as you can see, it's difficult because I don't know if you can see the O and the omega, but the shape is not the same, and I need to understand, okay, it's the same typeface, but the shape is not the same. It's okay, it will be okay. And do you remember Cecilia Branchoyot is my sister, and his published paper is about this title, very complicated thing. So you can see how Greek letters can be mixed with the other letter in the title. This is about cell division, by the way. And NPEF again. So you can see I have symmetrical serif. I have this kind of shape with a calligraphical movement. I have some shape very sharp and very contrasted to match with my reference, historical reference, like this. And so yes, I create regular, like anatomy. I create italic. I create medium, bold, and extra bold, and black to have all this family. You can see the black. You can see the italic. Italic is very important because there are always italic in science papers. And for the creative master, I create accent. Accent is about known in your head feeling, and so this is extra light. And for have an interesting evolution, I want to have this effect to be more close than the regular. So we have accent, medium accent bold, accent black, and accent regular to have more calm effect with this typeface. So you can see how they live together with creative, black, and regular. And how it feels when it's animated like that, like a breeze, like an organism. Yeah. So you can see in blue, this is the master I create, and after interpolation, I forgot just the italic. Yes, I create italic, it's not interpolation. And here you can understand what's happened when I create the creative master accent. I just try to have the same exercise like a ball to extend a little bit, but to keep the shape and to make it seem as possible to have the real skeleton of the typeface. And do you remember this slide? This is about the intern corner of my creative master. So you can see it's the intern corner more rounded to keep this energy biological, to keep this this feeling really alive. And yeah, okay. And I try to have some compromise, like this effect is only on the vertical line, and with a more curved line, it's just simple. It brings something like construction, like an organism, one big family. And here you can see how it's worked together, how the rhythm is here with black, bold, creative master, and regular. And yes, we can have a very different shape with only one typeface. So it's very cool because you can transmit what you want and what the feeling of the topic is. And yeah. And of course you can write with a Greek letter. So thank you to all of these fabulous people.
Thank you. Now we have Chris. Ready?
No.
Again.
Actually, I had some notes with me, but I decided not to use it. In fact, I was going to say, can I stay on this slide and not go any further? Because this is my best slide. I want to talk about the name a little bit. I actually struggled quite a bit with the name. I was going to call it Metro Serif. I'll explain why in a little bit. And then I wanted to call it Transit. And then Jean-François told me that it's taken. Somebody's using it already. So, but my rock star classmate Roxanne, I was talking to her, and she said, why don't you just call it, actually I still don't know how to pronounce this. Transit. So anyway, I love the name. So I'll explain why I chose this name. While everybody's drawing letters, I'm struggling with the name. Okay. So my tagline is a serif revival. I'm doing a revival. you can see, that moves. The word trajet in French, my understanding is, it means a journey or route from one place to another. In fact, well, there's no, in English it's not trajet, we don't have that word, but we have a word called trajectory, and it's related, comes from the same Latin root. So I chose this name because letters that we draw follow paths, and the strokes trace directions, and the terminals mark endings, and the counters lead the eye. That's it? No. Just kidding. Oh yeah, and reading itself is movement as well when you read. So I want to explain what, when I came, I was thinking about how to sort of relate this to Chinese characters. In fact, I told everyone that I don't want to copy Chinese. I don't want to copy Chinese forms, right? So anyway, Chinese characters, I found recently that to have a respectable font, you need at least 7,000 characters. In fact, a commercial Chinese typeface would be more than 15,000 characters. So to put that in perspective, I was talking to a friend that does Chinese type professionally. He said he can only create 20 glyphs per day. So imagine how much time you need. So that's why I think there's so much effort put into creating Chinese characters that the Latin type that comes with it is often an afterthought. So here's an example. So on the left, it's the Song Chinese typeface. That's common, and usually it's paired with Times or a Garamond, and you can see that the weight's not very compatible. Like Garamond has a very small X height, and it doesn't seem to really work together. So that's why a lot of people, when they Chinese graphics or people that do bilingual, they usually skip the Latin that comes with the Chinese one and decide to use something else because the one that comes with it is useless. Now, this is a photo of a Chinese, one of Hong Kong's subway station. And this is the signage. You can see that it's actually paired with a sans serif instead of a serif. Now this is my friend Sammy Orr. He actually drew the typeface by hand in the beginning. And because it's a signage, they decided at the time to pair it with a sans serif type. Since then, he's actually decided to digitize his font. It's called Metro Sum. That's why I was originally thinking called it Metro Serif. The reason is because of historical reason, his typeface comes with the sans serif type, which to me, I think it's missing. I think it should come with the serif. So this is Hong Kong's subway map. And if you look closer, it still uses sans serif. During TypeParis, I was looking for references, looking for sources. So, anybody know who this is? Anybody? No? Now, I think TypeParis is great because not only are we to draw letters, I think it's a live history lesson. I mean, I know some of you like, we're going to the library again. No, I really like the library. I know I was taking a lot of pictures and blocking yes. But I really enjoyed it. So this is a
George Michael.
I'm sorry?
George Michael.
George Michael. Okay. So who's this? Well, it's Faulkner, right? So now, so maybe this is a little bit of teacher in me, right? So what was Fournier's greatest contribution to type art? Sorry, you might ask, what does this have to do with anything? But you know, I'm learning a lot about type. Actually, I never heard of Fournier before I came to Paris, right? So basically, there's two things. One is he introduced the typographic font, which is basically the first standardized system for measuring type, which is what we use today, right? So 1 inch is 72 points, is 96 pixels. But his typeface bridges between old style like Garamond to the more modern like Dida, right? So you can see that he actually is a very, very important figure in typographic history. So thanks to Jean-Francois' excellent library collection, we looked at the source, took lots of photos, and the same process that my classmates did, right? We looked at the sources and started with calligraphy. I've never done calligraphy before, first time. Really struggled. But I learned a lot. And like everyone else, lots of drawings. I don't know, I was looking at my collection. I have a huge bag full of this. I don't know what to do with it. So, like everyone else, we started with an MPF. And of course, I digitized it. Ooh, looks like I put in the wrong one. Okay. And we also worked on the black and the creative. I actually really had fun working on this. But I really had a lot of problems with interpolation. But I did learn a lot. This is I don't even remember who wrote these comments. It's probably a combination of Ruggiero and Leo. And I actually had. I was looking last night. I think I have maybe 10 of these. Yes. So just to summarize the design for this revival. One of the clear features is that the flat sharp serifs, and also the wedge-shaped head serifs on the top. And actually, I really struggled with this part, but we also did rectangular serifs that some of the G and the C actually curves in. And of course, the teardrop terminals. And then for the creative master, I actually ended up doing a sort of high contrast variant. So the family that I came up with is basically there's 3 families. I have text, title, and display. And some of the weights are a result of interpolation. Okay, this is I didn't show all the glyph sets like everyone else, but this is the main glyph set. And this is the text that you can see. Now, so the key thing that I want to do, and what I want to show people when I go back, is that it actually works quite well with the Chinese type together. So when I worked on this last night, I think this is a key image. So this is the same image I showed you earlier of the subway station, and I think I must have spent an hour on Photoshop to make this happen. And I think it looks great. Maybe I will go to the subway company in Hong Kong and say, you must change your text. And so this is a close-up of the subway map, and you can see that I think it can look good with the new type. This is a recent annual report. I don't know why, but in Hong Kong, everybody likes all caps. Which I don't understand. Now, all caps is fine, but they really need to give a little more letter spacing, I think. So I quickly did a mock-up. If you see that, I think it looks better. I found this really ugly ad, and I don't really mind the image, but look at the type. It's awful. So I fixed it. So that's probably how it would look in the station.
In the future.
In the future, yes. In the future. So this is my, pick one up over there. So you can see I took this picture last night. Really, really. And someone pointed out that that's my shadow of myself on the right. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Please welcome our panelists.
Thank you. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about Kindling, which is a tale of mental breakdown and type design. Is it going to be in that order? Let's find out. So at the beginning of 2026, I played a game called Dark Souls, which was published by From Software originally in 2011. And then was remastered in 2018, which is why it looks like this and not a pixelated mess. As you can see, it's gorgeous. I was very impressed and moved by it. And since I played it a little while before getting accepted to TypeParis, I thought this would be a nice inspiration for my project. So, with that in mind, I thought, why not do something with black letter? In my case, it would be fractal type, which is a style of calligraphy that originated in Germany in the 16th century. I thought it would fit the project better than something, like textura, because it looks darker and moodier than textura, and Dark Souls is a very moody and challenging game. We will talk about this later. So this was my base, and the goal was to manage to make a mix between fracture and humanistic Roman style. Because of course, the fracture type has a lot of vertical stress. It is completely illegible, and the point of TypeParis is to make something that would be usable. So let's go for a mix with Roman. I started with calligraphy. I did trials both in a Roman-ish style and multiple styles of black letter in order to get a feel for the doctors and how it would eventually look like. See if I could already mix some elements of black letter with the Roman type, but at this stage it's very early, so I don't think I managed to do a very good job at that. Then, after calligraphy, I had a little talk with Joe, one of our instructors, who gave me a very good idea, which was to make some kind of puzzle with the main pieces of what would be a black letter, like an N, which is always the first letter that we draw, apparently. And to take a few bits of this and maybe apply it to a Roman typeface and see if that would work in order to keep legibility while still giving texture to the text. So this is, this is where we got to. I had some kind of a Roman to fracture slider that could demonstrate how you could go from very Roman shell, not much happening, to very dark letter inspired and kind of crazy. So this is the second one, and then it gets worse, and then again, and then again. Coming to this, I thought, what if those two are our winners? They both have black letters elements. One is still quite Roman, humanistic-ish, traditional, and could be used for text, and the other is very, very black letter and could only work in display. So I thought maybe I could try and design both of them together while still keeping like some kind of relationship between the two of them. I explained this to Jean-François, saying that it might work, but he had a pretty compelling argument against it, which was no, so I guess we didn't do that. Thankfully, his decision was pretty nice still. He decided that I should go with the lower black letter crazy style, so I started drawing this. As you can see, I drew a lot of letters before this happened. And this is not a picture from the game, this is live footage of Jean-François coming to my table. Your key is not working because the ductus is wrong, you have to start again. Mind you, at this very point, all of my classmates already had like 46 masters, and I did not have a P, so I understood no process very well. We were in the same boat. Maybe her visions at night were not as terrifying as this, but mine were. So this is what it felt like. This is a screen you see a lot when you play Dark Souls, since it's very challenging. You die a lot. And as I said earlier, it is relevant because for me, TypeParis is very much the Dark Souls of typography. So this is the P I went with afterwards. Now, the ductus is still wrong, okay? Give me a break. But at this point, I was just so late, we decided it would be better to fix it on Glyphs. So I started working on that. And kept this quote from Ruggiero in mind. Not every letter has to be interesting, sometimes a T is just a T. This was my motto for the rest of the project. I had to keep it in mind. It is very difficult to find the proper balance between black letter and Roman. Back in April, when I was young and naive, I really thought it would be just a fun project. It ended up being very fun, but also a nightmare. So at this point, Jean-François also told something that stuck to my head. He said that at this stage of TypeParis, there was always people who were fast, some were slow, some who are secure, and some who are insecure. This is, of course, where I was at this stage. Still with my 4 letters, nothing much to show for my own sanity, but getting there slowly but surely. Anyways, time to move on to Glyphs. This is my first N. It started evolving pretty slowly but surely, and then eventually we came to a good form! Yay! Okay, now starting with that, I don't know if some of you might not know this, but Jean-François is very adamant that we start designing NPEF. So basically, your N is the triangular cornerstone of your project. Not having this means not having typography. So that was very good news. As you can see, I still managed to keep some elements of the black letter, even if it's very subtle. We have a square slanted serif that reminds some of the brush strokes, an asymmetrical block serif that is kind of there for the simple purpose of stability, really, and a main angular element that is not present in all letters, but does the job as giving texture to a text. Now, considering those three attributes, I can now, still with Eugenio's quotes in mind, attribute my letters to three different groups. We have the fast, secure, stable, can relate, as you can see. Those are really, you can really rest your eyes on those characters. They have nothing very fancy happening, they're just very stable. Again, that's not who I am. Then you have the ones craving your attention, anything that has a little bit of angularity, which might be a little bit out of pocket. And finally, you have the main character syndromes, the J, the K, and the S, which of course, as you can probably guess, gave me a headache when we had to start going to black style. This is my final alphabet for the regular. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the texture and the style that I managed to get, mostly because it is legible, so a win in my book. These are some of the diacritics. This is not the regular, but I mean, I slept 3 hours and I had 1 espresso, so please forgive me. This is the black. I really enjoyed drawing this because even though it steers away a lot from black letter, even with it being blacker, I think it gives the font a very interesting dynamic movement, which I really enjoyed. I managed to do, again, not a regular, an italic, that also kind of conserves the style in general. I really liked the quite angular elements and how they translated into italic movements. It was really nice. This is a few bits of text in both regular, italic, and black. I think they work very well together. This is the interpolation from regular to black. And those are a few extracts of letters that I really like and that I didn't thought I would ever love in my life. G, still a main character, of course, it deserved its own slides. And let us engage in jolly cooperation, which is a quote from Dark Souls that is very fitting to the mood we had with the attendees. A few letters again. And those are our main instructions that I would like to say thank you to for your guidance, your patience, mostly, and for helping me create something that I didn't think I would be able to do in such a short amount of time. So thank you for that. Thank you to our guest critics as well, and a final word for the team. Without you, I would definitely had a mental breakdown. You were my cornerstone. Kindling is meant to mean the act of lighting a fire. And in Dark Souls, lighting bonfires is a checkpoint that means safety and security, and that is what you were. Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roxanne. And now we'll see the last presentation, Valentin.
Oh, you spoiled.
No, it's supposed to be done.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Valentin. Nice to meet you. No, I'm the last of the day, so sorry, I'm like a little tired. But it should be okay, and thanks you to stay here for until the end. So yeah. Starting off my project is like since I was a child, I was always fascinated by maps. My grandfather gave me one map, and after that I started to collect them like a lot, and it became like a real passion. And I never imagined that years later I would create like a typeface for maps. So this is my project, how to design a typeface for maps. And with all that, with more precise question, what's math needs from that programming? So where do I start? I start to look like a lot of maths, and I do a lot of research. I see like the letters where like they are connected to maths, how to connect to them, and all of a sudden, one math like stand out, and this math is the math of Cassini. Maybe you know already this. This is the first French map of France. So the name of this Carte Générale de France. And yeah, it was created like in the 1756 and 1815 by a family named César François Cassini and his son Jean-Denis Cassini. So yeah, they are like do a real big work because they done like 18 sheets of paper, and they put all this together to create like the Frenchman. And yeah, it's quite big, and I start to look at more closely, not the geography or the description, but more the typeface and stuff like that. So what is this pattern of that? It's like this. So I take a lot of pictures of that for working. And yeah, it's cool, no? I really like that. I like the texture, and when I see more closely, I see that we have like a very long serif. Maybe sometimes they are connected, and all the shapes are not the same. So yeah, I start to work with like paper, like you all see all today. And I start with a woman. So yeah, I start to work, and it's not really good. And it's too straight, too sharp maybe, and Jean-François see it and say, don't do a dido. Oh, okay, sorry. So I come back to, I start conversing with him and with Laura, and I understand that my typeface are more on grading style, like Nicolas Cochin doing with the Cochin font, but it's made by a blotting pen, so more humanist and more things. So that's why I start to understand that like a big tension. Sorry. In my project that I like, tension is like between the really mathematical structure and precise structure of the math and the humanist and warm gesture of the calligraphy and the content. So yeah, this is my main question in my project. And I start to read all the letters like a lot, of course, like everyone. And yeah, I think I'm in the good direction with that, so I start to digitize them. And I try to understand, like, okay, I have like top serif, long serif, like France, more pure counter, more straight. But I have like try to have this tension between very straight and geometric things, but really pure and humanist typeface. And yeah, that's why I start to print like you all see this slide on all this project maybe, but Joe gave me like a lot of photos, maybe the 10 people that are printed with that, and my regular was born here. So it's like the same thing that I say, that I try to add some ligatures and try to add some arrows, obviously for maths, you know, and some character spatial format, but I will not take a lot of time on it because we don't have time, sorry. And after I try to do the black. Okay, maybe it seems like a dido, but it's not a dido. That's right. And yes, this is on a text. And this is the interpolation between the regular and my black. In fact, my regular was very light, so it's not for me to do like the regular is my regular is more light. And after that, I started to export them into Rainer, like Neo said, and yeah. Okay, I was happy, but I really struggled because my fonts are like a lot of italic. And I said, okay, if I have to do italic, it has to be useful for maps. So I created like a style used for hydronymy, sorry, like lake, river. So that's why my italic was born. And of course, I had a lot of switches to add more fluidity and to more connect with my brief. So yeah, I was quite happy because I solved the problem of maps, like the hierarchy problem. But I was not happy because we have a lot of width problems in the maps, the space. Sometimes on maps you have a lot of dense information, so that's why I created a compressed version. Like this, I start with NPEF or close. And yes, this is my typeface compressed. It's more like for dense information on maps. You have a lot of information, so yeah, it's quite obvious. And I try to use it for mountain maybe, but after that I exploited with my regular and I had to create like more dense and narrow style. But I have one idea more, maybe too much, but to have like a reverse problem, because sometimes on map you have a lot of space and you have to fill out the space and to take more stability. But that's why I created like a white typeface. Yeah, so with NPEF. And yeah, my typeface was born. But I tried to use it on maps to understand if they work or not. And like to compress, I created like in between regular and stuff, right? So I created instantly with my typeface. And with that, you understand, I try to link all my style to something useful for maps, like economy or something else, but I think you understand my points. And when I try to interpolate them, maybe you have some problem, but I like it, so yeah. But wait, I was like, okay, I've done compress and wide, and I think like I'm missing something on maps that I really like. So I pick up my reference on all the map and I say, okay, I have a lot of true text on the maps. And I say, oh, I have to try to figure that. And I talked to Rojo and Simon. And I had an idea, and thanks to him and Rojo, I was, okay, maybe I can create like something like that. Okay, that seems like a compass or maybe things, but I try to understand how to take my regular and I define the letter and I add like some proof on the theory to add like a family. I can do that on all my pages. And at this point I was not really happy because I see that at that time. Oh, okay. I just see like an happy typeface, not happy typeface or and after I try to interpolate them. And I see that. It's not a bell. Okay, so that's before, and that's when I try to use it, it's like more that one. I was, oh, okay. Well, not sure, but yes. And yeah, I try to put like some labels on all the words to use. And when I was more happy, I tried to combine all my community, and I created like that. Yes. Okay, so this is my whole family, more for maps, And I tried to do a map with all the diverse person and all the things that we learned about serif to choose axis. But yeah, we have too much French maybe because we don't have enough place of France, so yeah. Thank you. All of you guys, it was really impressive and really nice trip. Maybe too much, maybe quite intense, but yeah, it was really cool. And of course, thank you to all the instructors that gave you a lot of information. Thank you a lot.
So, thank you very much, all of you. We couldn't be prouder. It was an exceptionally hot weather TypeParis year. And we got some exceptionally cool typefaces. So, well done. As you figured out, TypeParis is very intense, and we cannot afford to waste time. So we are on a very tight schedule where we refine this schedule year after year to optimize and squeeze out of you as much as we can. So it's a very rigid structure in a way. We're asking very specific things from you at very specific time. And yet we saw today that each one of you made a very personal piece of work, and all of your typefaces are very much your own design. So I'm very impressed. Thank you for taking our process and making it something that is yours and that is personal to you. That's give me a lot of hope for the future of type design.
I just think that you can be very proud of you, to be honest. Like, what you achieved in this super short amount of time, and the size of your design spaces are quite impressive. So for me, it was the first time as well, so it was a very enjoyable and intense experience, and you were a very nice group to work with.
Yeah, I wasn't there for while you were making all this progress, but I could discover your work today through your presentation. So thank you for this really beautiful presentation, beautiful work. I was really impressed because it's 6 weeks, and you all have different backgrounds, different starting points, but the overall quality is great for all of you, and I was glad to be here today.
Congrats again. I was very amazed because I met you in the very first beginning of TypeParis and then in the very last, so I was very impressed, and you have to be very proud of yourself. Great. So,
the first thing is about the group. You all as a group, the group is formidable. Yes. you every day, week after week, you demonstrated all the group was solid. There is some humor with yourself all together. There is support from each other. We don't have that every year, but your group need a distinction. Yeah, as a group, fabulous. And there are people as our group that what we can say. You survived to the high temperature, the highest temperature in France. On sea level to France, I mean, let's speak for France. For Paris, for TypeParis, I would say. The highest temperature TypeParis, let's be just TypeParis. On your sea level to draw serif after the high temperature, so it's a very good sign. You don't demonstrate it to be lost sometimes as it happened in the past with the guest instructor. And that's also it's a strength. Generally, every year we have complained. You know, there is this person who says that, and another says that. I'm totally confused. I'm lost. We are never lost, or maybe you never told me. That's Is it on you? It would be lost. It's not just me. Okay. So that is also it means it's a maturity. You know where you're going. For sure, you struggle. You try to find a way. And you demonstrated that with the presentation absolutely very well. But still, you have certain confidence. You have the strength to go in a certain direction. And then, this small thing about the guest critic was
clearly what happened. Even when you have seen us, all the time it was that. We want to have a story for each of you, because if I'm looking at each of you, you have a story to tell with your typeface, a family story, a life story, whatever. It's on your project. We can see that on your project. You wanted to do certain things or not other things, but you achieved to do, or you keep quite an open mind also based on the comments we made for you. So also this is a good compliment to each of you to be able to go more far than normally. Sometimes people are afraid to go in certain directions. They are not the habit on you. Also, we can see that after 6 weeks, you understand what is like design. Yes, it's a new part of your body in a in the physical sense. It's inside you. It's not nothing superficial anymore. It's typeface today after the 6 weeks. So it's also something with deep inside you. So it's a very pleasant moment, pleasant journey to be with you all the time. All this day we spent. It was a pleasure. To tell you also at a personal level that in the early, I don't say that to anybody. The week 2, I say maybe I have to stop TypeParis. Maybe the last year, yeah. But you bring me strength for myself too, yeah. The group. Because sometimes you do the thing every day, every night, every year. Not every day, yes, but every year. Yes, maybe it's temperature, I don't know, but I was like not depressed, but okay, let's try to do something else. So you bring me the energy back, like you put the energy between yourself all the time, probably, yeah. So it's also a very interesting sign, yeah. So I'm looking to each of you again, yeah. It's interesting sign, and I like that. So thank you for your time. We start. Yeah. So it's a moment where we will deliver the diploma, the certificate, whatever the name you have. It's just a piece of paper. It's a souvenir of the you have together. We have together. There is no specific order, but at the end there is the person we selected as. Or we can say that the excellence. What is the word we use? The distinction, the excellence, the best, whatever, the best of the show, whatever the word. It was very difficult. It was very difficult to find who was on this group of people.
It was very difficult because all the projects are great, not because none of the projects are.
Yes, thank you for the small. Yes, to just confirm to don't be understood in the wrong way. I concur. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, It was very difficult to find who was because also I will continue to say something, but when we decide someone we need, because everyone's vote is very democratic. And after you do the compilation of vote, and we have the result. So there is no influence of each other, we just have votes. And the progress of everyone, the way I'm bringing the same word, but the journey you have, from where you starting from where you arrived, each of you, there was some interesting thing happening. Yeah? This plus the quality of the design at the end, the achievement, yeah? What the people, because the people when they arrive on the website look at the design and say, wow, they are very good at TypeParis. And generally, you probably have the same question also, maybe to yourself, maybe by email. Does they have the level to apply to TypeParis? We have this question regularly, because this is the final thing. But they never see from where you came from, at least from the first day. Some of you have shown, I recall your presentation showing your calligraphy. Oh, my calligraphy at the time, after possible better. But you have this thing happening, so it was difficult to select. because of all these factors, multiple factors. Yeah. So let's start with the first. The photographer on the back. We need a photo for each of the diploma. You can be closer. Yeah? Yeah, sure here? We want to be sure that we have a photo for each of the person who will be on stage with the photography, with the... Okay? Yes? Okay? The objective is clean. No dust. Fine. So we call you each after the other, and I will jump into the stage. We'll do a photo with you, and then after, when we will finish, we'll do a photo with the group as a souvenir. Okay? So the first on the folder, it's Neo on Jolas. The next one.
So the next one is Anaïs Marcel.
One more. Okay.
Next up is Anouk and Ice.
And the next one is Chris Yin.
C'est bon?
Sébastien Martineau.
Next is Sofia Gabriela Rossi.
think that Jean-François was worried there won't be enough pictures.
Yes, yes.
And the next one is Mio, as well.
Bon, il y en a 4. Il y en aura un qui ne sera pas.
Before, I need to mention that the calligraphy was done by Malo on the right. Very nice job, Malo.
Yes. Yes, please.
Next one is with distinction, Noor Zahab.
The next one is Vanessa Schmutz.
We can move on.
Also with distinction is Simon Leroux.
And last but not least, with distinction, Valentin Le Temps.
Biggest all over the world.
Wait, can I say just two things before, because once everyone is on stage, no one is listening anymore. So two things. Every year of TypeParis is special in its own right, and but this year was extra special because we had new instructors and some instructors left across the history of TypeParis, but it's the first year we had 3 new instructors at once, and that's a big challenge for us to maintain the quality of the.
The first year we had 3 who remain.
Yes,
I try to be like you know, to be sure.
And it's we could not have hoped for a better group of new instructors. It was such a pleasure to teach with Leo, Joe, and Greg. I think they did an amazing job. I'm very impressed at how they managed to understand what we're doing and follow along and bring their own energy and their own perspective to the group. So I thank you so much, Leo. Thank you so much, Joe and Greg, for listening. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you so much to you, because it's much easier to be a great instructor when you have great attendees. So you made it a lot easier for all of us this year. And last thing, I have a bad news. You're not done with Basecamp. So your Basecamp is going to go into archives sometimes in the future. In 1 year, okay. You still have 1 year on your Basecamp, but you will also be registered or whatever, transferred to the TypeParis alumni Basecamp. And TypeParis is it's every year it creates strong bonds between the attendees, but it also goes across multiple years. So it's now it's the 10th.
Not that, but COVID year.
Yeah. So there's between 9 and 12.
2026.
Yeah.
So yes, something like that.
Yeah, so there's about 150 people that went through TypeParis, and you're part of that community now. So welcome to your new Basecamp. Sorry.
Yeah, normally it's what you do, because I miss regularly, but I have to mention Veronique for the job she do on the back to make TypeParis work. And I also want to thank all the people who worked on the TypeParis communication to make everything happening. You have here only one representative. You have with you a few others who was there since December to help, and obviously the two congrats here on the back. Yes. Thank you very much. So,
group pictures.
Almost the last one. Almost the last one. There will be more tonight. So please come. Join us on stage. Why these screaming?
Attention, ne tombe pas. Hein. Ouais. On n'est pas assuré pour les membres du jury extérieur.
Tout secondes. Yes. Non. Merci. One, two, three.